today for those in the need of a quick walk. So around Burnie Park, and then we'll do a quick walk along the river down at Somerset. Burnie Park, the car park at Burnie Park. There's a playground, quite an extensive playground. Quite a nice little walk up the back to the waterfall, which is where we're headed. Rain overnight, so there's a fair amount of moisture on the ground. So the puddles there. Go around the corner of the playground setup. What a pleasant little walk, this one. It is possible to go that way and not encounter any steps. We're going to come down this way because it's possible. Ducks on Burnie Park Duck Pond. Nice place to come and feed them grain. Never bred, never grain. Continue on past the ducks. You see at the end of their pond, there's a little bit of a weir. It's not the waterfall we're heading to, but it's nice enough. And it's moving fairly quickly after the rain. Another shot of it, and it flows under this bridge I'm on, down eventually to the Bass Strait, which isn't that far, a couple 100 yards down there. Moving on, up to our left, up there. Those buildings are toilet facilities, which are always clean. There's a case made in front. And then we're going to start heading upwards. It's a bit of a hike, but it's worth it, I think. You can get a look at the hill there. Fairly steep. There on the railing of this little viewing platform that gets you out looking over the duck pond. By way of a sort of irony, there's ducks looking at me. Shot there of the car park and the playgrounds as we head up the winter, but this is well and truly in flower. Some sort of rhododendron by the look of it, but if you know better, let me know in the comments. There's standard in these parts. It's not really a rotunda, but it is a space for bands to play and plays to be put on even in the classical Greek sense on the car park for people who wanted to avoid stairs. Now we're heading up the unpaved part. Still good enough for wheelchairs, I would imagine. But there are steps up here, so it probably isn't ideal for the disabled. As we have all over Tassie, the free barbecue. Path is following this constructed creek, I guess you'd call it. It's been channeled and directed, but it's quite a pleasant sound to have running in the background as we walk. So a reasonably gentle slope to this point, but it will start to kick up. So if you hear me short of breath, that'd be why. With remnants of a cold rainforest, very different from your tropical. This is very much a remnant. Maybe when we get down the west coast sometime, we'll show you some of the really cold, real rainforest down there. In fact, if we get out to Dip Falls, I'll show you that. Because it's definitely triple canopy rainforest out there. We go from the sunlit into the more overgrown. It's not quite a canopy up there, but it's close. And that cuts out a lot of the sunlight, which is nice for bringing the temperature down in summer. A little bit fresh in August. Feel the sides of the valley starting to close in, almost cradling us as we walk up. A little stone bridge. You'd almost be looking for trolls as you cross this, but there's none of those about, thankfully. Approaching the bridge. Not sure if you can see up there. the waterfall that we're heading towards, but it's not that far away. So this is about as far as we can go if you are in wheels. See you at the top when I get my breath back. That's the top of the first set of stairs. Climbs fairly quickly. We're still on a slope here. There are no stairs till then. Over the steps, a little bit of respite as we head downhill, which is always pleasant. We have here is the reservoir at the top of the park, being filled by that waterfall. Bottom of that lake, then another little low area, and then down to Burnie Park at the bottom. If there's too much water, we can remove this sluice gate here, or the council will, and the water will flow down next to the creek and eventually catch up down the bottom there. But it's a good way to double the water lead. One last set of steps and we'll have a nice view of the falls. Those steps, you can see the waterfall splits. We'll see that better from the top. The top of the steps. Nice view down to where the waterfall cascades through two gaps and flows on down to the bottom. And that's it for the Burnie Park walk to the waterfalls. We'll be off to our next walk in a minute. A short, sharp, but very pleasant walk. We're on the Cam River here, down at Somerset. This is the boat ramp there for launching, and this is the pontoon for getting on and off the boat for when you're launching it. Quiet spot down here on this very fine and sunny mid-August morning. There is a southerly, southwesterly change coming. Snow down to 600 metres, so we'll walk while we can. As you will remember from the Wynyard Walk, this is also called a river walk. Seems to be fairly standard creativity in these parts of the world. In most parts of the world, really. You've got a river, you're walking alongside it. Let's call it a river walk. But it is quite pleasant, quite warm even. So I say there's a change in the air, allegedly. But we will see. Just up under the bridge there is where the Cam River enters into the sea. Sea on this occasion is called Bass Strait. We'll have a closer look when we get up there. As is standard, we have a free electric barbecue under a shelter. And not far from there, public toilets, again, always clean. Excellent spot to sit and relax and cogitate. Really rather pleasant spot here. A few sculptures here of boats and canoe outriggers and whatnot. When Somerset was originally settled, it was by the white folk. It was a boat building area. Plenty of timber in the hinterland and quite an extensive industry back in the day. Up there, opened in 2024. There's the fourth one across the Cam River. Others were further upstream. There's a walkway across on the other side we'll get to. It used to be the railway bridge. It's a continuation of that railway walking track we've been talking about. But there was quite a hoo-ha while they were building this one. So what happened was they dammed sort of 3/4 of the way across the river so they could get those pylons in to hold up the new bridge. Unfortunately, we had another one of those 1 in a 100-year flood events. And because of the dam, it channeled all the water quite tightly and moved the supports on the old bridge, which then was closed for 2 days. At the same time, upstream, where the road can go around the back, about 50 k's inland, the rain caused the landslip. So basically this side of the cam was pretty much cut off. And after a couple of days and engineers trying to find solutions, vehicles were allowed over at 40 k's an hour for probably went on for about 6 months. It was quite an ordeal. As I say, it's low tide, but you can see here up on the bank the heavier material that gets thrown up on the high tide, particularly when the river's running a bit wild. And it does get very wild. It takes us underneath the bridge and round to the other side of the highway. It's the Bass Highway, the main one from the far west into Launceston. And you get a good view there in profile of what used to be the rail bridge. Here it is from the end. It's quite a useful piece of kit for getting across the river and avoiding the traffic. Following the path on, we've hit what's known now as the Coastal Trail. We're at the Cam River Bridge. Path goes round to the Surf Life Saving Club over there. Quite a well organised and quite efficient club. And to your front, between that and that shed there on the left, there's an all abilities playground. We'll wander over and have a look. It's got all the usual things, but they've been modified to ensure that anyone of any physical ability can use them. Coming into sight there is a special swing that you can roll your wheelchair up onto. The ground's all softened with rubber matting, and over in the background there, that log cabin, it's for picnic spots. And directly opposite that, there's some toilets. It's the short but rather pleasant river walk in Somerset.